Good day to everyone, especially to our professor. This is Danica Aripega, and I am with my team. We are the Group 1. So, today we will talk about one of the most important in Philippine history, which is ang agrarian reform in the Philippines pre-presidential administration. So, we all know nga ang land ownership diri sa Pilipinas is very important, and let us all remember nga if kinsa ang owner sa land, siya ang naay power, control, authority over the piece of land. And ang ato ang mga farmers, sila jud ang essential workers diri sa atong country kay sila sa ila gagikan ang ato ang mga gipangkaon. So dapat ato na silang i-keep and ato silang i-respect because tungod nila na atay kipanglamoy taga-adlaw. So, let us all remember that the Philippines has a rich history of agrarian reforms with various presidential administrations implementing policies and initiatives aimed at addressing land distribution, tenancy issues, and promoting social justice in the agricultural sector. So, this presentation of ours delves into the agrarian reform measures implemented during different presidential administrations, shedding light on the significant milestones and challenges faced in the pursuit of equitable land ownership. So, by examining these reforms, we gain a deeper understanding of the evolving landscape of Philippine history and the socio-economic impact of agrarian policies. So, let's start with the introduction. Table of contents. So first, the introduction, second, the contents, third, the conclusion, fourth, the acknowledgements, and fifth is the closing credits. Land reform, land reform, land reform, land reform.
What is land reform? Land reform is a form of agrarian reform involving the changing of laws, regulations, or customs regarding the ownership of land. Land reform versus agrarian reform. Reform is a term that was used earlier to bring about changes in the ownership of land in rural areas. Agrarian reform includes land reform and also addresses education and training of farmers for better produce and marketing, rural credit, easier access to market, and so on.
Pre-Spanish period, pre-Spanish period, pre-Spanish period.
This land is ours, God gave this land to us. Before the Spaniards came to the Philippines, Filipinos lived in village or barangays ruled by chief or datus. The datus comprised the nobility, then came to the maharlikas or freemen, followed by the aliping mamamayan, serf, and aliping sa gigilid slaves. However, despite the existence of different classes in the social structure, particularly everyone had access to the fruits of the soil, and money was unknown, and rice served as the medium of exchange. Communal type of land ownership. Communal tenure refers to a situation in which a group holds secure and exclusive collective rights to own, manage, or use a land and natural resources refer to a common pool resources, including agricultural lands, grazing lands, forests, trees, fisheries, wetlands, or irrigation waters.
Spanish period, Spanish period, Spanish.
Good day. I'm Giancarlo T. Mugosara from BSEE second year. I'm going to discuss about Spanish period agrarian reforms. Each president under Spanish rule had their own way of dealing with agrarian reforms. While there were some attempts to tackle land issues, the impact of these efforts was quite limited.
Agrarian rising, agrarian rising.
Agrarian rising. This refers to movements by farmers who protested against injustices related to land. There were specific times during this period when agrarian unrest became more prominent. These are the instances we focus on to understand the challenges faced by farmers. And that's it.
The Philippine Republic, the Philippine Republic.
Hi everyone again, my name is Abraham Sobulia Magsalay. Thinking of the Bachelor of Science in Business Administration, major in Recreation Management. So now, I will discuss other part about the first Philippine Republic. So the first Philippine Republic, or the Spanish, that we called Republica Filipina. Now officially known as the First Philippine Republic and also referred to by historians as the Malolos Republic, was established in Malolos, Bulacan during the Philippine Revolutions against the Spanish Empire 1896 to 1898 and the Spanish-American War between Spain. So, so the first republic in the Philippines, which is the Malolos Republic. Malolos Republic was the considered first Philippine republic. The Philippines were under Spanish control for 300 years. The Philippines became an independent nation on January 23, 1899, after the declarations of the First Philippine Republic. So, everyone, ang first jud nga diri sa Philippine Republic, which is that we call Malolos Republic. So, was considered the first Philippine. So, mga na lagi consider diyan mo na ang first na first republic diri sa Pilipinas. So, ang Pilipinas kay that naa sila gikontrol sa Spanish nga 300 years ago. So, the Philippines became an independent nation sa January 2023. So, ang Philippines is nag-independent sila sa nation aton January 23, 1899, after the declarations of the First Philippine Republic. So, that's all.
American period, AC 98 to 1935. American period.
Hi, I am Rina S. Pulagawad from Group 1. So, my topic is the American period. So, what is the American period? The American period in the Philippines lasted from 1898 to 1946. It can be divided into two phases. The first phase from 1898 to 1935 focused on preparing the Philippines for eventually independence. During this time, the United States introduced democratic governance, modern infrastructure, and educational reforms. The second phase, from 1935 to 1946, marked the granting of independence to the Philippines by the United States. This period saw the rise of Filipino nationalism and struggle for independence. The American colonial rule in the Philippines lasted for 48 years and had a significant impact on the political, economic, and social development of the country. The Filipino Commission enacted Act 496, known as Land Registration Law, created the Court of Land Registration and the Office of the Register of Deeds. Upon effectivity of Act Number 2374, the Court of Land Registration was replaced by the General Land Registration Office, or GRLO. Spain surrenders the Philippines to the United States as a result of the Treaty Paris. Significant legislation enacted during the American period. Philippine Bill of 1902 set the ceiling on the hectareage of private individuals and corporations may acquire. 16 has for private individual and 1024 has for corporation. Land Registration Act of 1902, Act Number 496, provide for comprehensive registration of land titles under the Torrent system. Public Land Act of 1903 introduced the homestead system in the Philippines. Tenancy Act of 1933, Act Number 4054 and 4113.
Commonwealth period, 1935 to 1942. Commonwealth period, 1935 to 1942. So the 1935 Constitution is enacted promoting social justice and economic security. So diri is they emphasizes the promotion of social justice and economic security, and it recognizes the importance of agrarian reforms in achieving these goals. So, diri sa 1935 Constitution, ang Philippines is gitagaan og panandali ang freedom sa mga Amerikano. That's why natatag ang 1935 Constitution, which is sa pamuno ni Manuel L. Quezon. So, diri na dayon considered ang mga batas. So, first, ang Commonwealth Act number 178 is passed, amending the Rice Tenancy Act number 4045 in 1936. So, this act aims to regulate landlord-tenant relationships, ensuring fairness and preventing exploitation. So, President Quezon's administrations implemented several agrarian reform measures, including the Rice Share Tenancy Act number 4054, which legalized the 50-50 sharing arrangement between landlords and tenants in crop sharing agreements. So diri kay naay regulasyon nga nahitabo between sa landlords ug tenants, which is ang pagtunga sa sa ilaang kita. So 50% is sa landlords and 50% pud ang sa mga tenants. So ang mga landlords sila ang magamit sa mga lupa nga dapat kuan tanuman at i-cultivate sa mga tenants. Well, ang tenants sila ang magkuan araro and sila ang mahimong hardworking para i-develop ang lupa sa mga landlords. So sa madaling salita is kuan ang ilang pagtunga is fair and square. So kuan third is the National Rice and Corn Corporation, or NARIC, is established, and it aims to stabilize the prices of rice and corn and ensure fair access for poor tenants and consumers in 1936. So the National Rice and Corn Corporation, or NARIC, was established in 1936 with the aim of stabilizing the prices of rice and corn and ensuring fair access for poor tenants and consumers. So it was a significant development in the context of agrarian reforms in the Philippines. The NARIC helped regulate the prices of these staple foods, benefiting both the producers and consumers. So the establishment of NARIC was part of the government's efforts to address the economic challenges faced by the agricultural sector and promote social and economic conditions for those good engaged in rice and corn production. Commonwealth Act number 481 is implemented and introducing regulations on tenant dismissal. So this act provides protection for tenants against unfair eviction by landlords in 1937. So this act was a significant development in the context of agrarian reforms in the Philippines, as it aimed to safeguard and the rights of tenants, to promote more equitable relationships between landlords and tenants. Second is in March 2, 1939, the Rural Program Administration is created. So this organization facilitates the purchase and lease of haciendas, as well as the sale and lease of these properties to the tenants. So this aimed to provide opportunities for tenants to acquire land and improve their economic conductions. Last is in June 3, 1939, Commonwealth Act number 441 is enacted, establishing the National Settlement Administration. This organization is provided with a capital stock of 20,000 pesos and focuses on promoting settlement and land distribution. So the main objective of this was to facilitate the acquisition and distribution of land to farmers, aiming to address issues of landedness and promote agrarian reforms. Japanese occupation. Japanese occupation.
Japanese occupation. Dayon pa ako balak during the Japanese occupation. their role in the agrarian struggle and the subsequent revisions in the Tenarary Law. The Japanese occupation agrarian reform during World War II aimed to redistribute land to peasants, reduce inequality, and gain support from the local population. However, the implementation of these reforms varied across different countries and faced resistance from local elites. The reforms obtained served Japanese colonial interests rather than bringing about genuine social transportation mission.
Manuel A. Rojas, 1946 to 1948.
In 1946 to 1948, President Manuel A. Rojas enacted the following laws. Republic Act No. 34 established the 730 sharing arrangement and regulating share tenancy contract. It was enacted to establish a 730 sharing arrangement between the tenant and their landlord. So, number 2, Republic Act No. 55. They provide for a more effective safeguard against arbitrary ejectment of tenants. So this Republic Act provides safety nets for the tenants from necessary ejectment from landlord. They can have their rights by agreed signing contract.
Opidio Quirino, 1948 to 1953. Opidio
During Elpidius Quirino's presidency, agrarian reforms were implemented in the Philippines. One significant action was the replacement of the Nation Land Settlement Administration with the Land Settlement Development Corporation, LASIDECO, which took over the responsibilities of the Agricultural Machinery Equipment Corporation and the Rice and Corn Productions Administration. This move aimed to address land distribution and provide opportunities for landless individuals. It is important to note that the agrarian reforms efforts were not about a war but rather about addressing social and economic issues related to land owners and distribution. The goal was to reduce large landholding, consolidate smaller economic holders, and provide security. In fact, the focus was on achieving social justice and providing opportunities for those who were landless.
Ramon Magsaysay, 1953 to 1957. Ramon
During his presidency, Ramon Magsaysay was a huge help to the economy, particularly Republic Act No. 1400, Land Reform Act of 1955, created the Land Tenure Administration or LTA, which was responsible for the acquisition and distribution of large tenant rice and corn lands over 200 hectares for individuals and 600 hectares for corporations. Public Act 821, creation of agricultural credit cooperative financing administration, provide small farmers and share tenants loans with low interest rates of 6 to 8%.
Carlos P. Garcia, 1957 to 1961.
After Ramon Magsaysay, Carlos P. Garcia became a president of the Philippines in 1957 to 1961. Who is Carlos P. Garcia? Carlos Polistico Garcia was a Filipino teacher, poet, orator, lawyer, public official, political economist, Commonwealth military leader who was the 8th president of the Philippines. Carlos P. Garcia continued of the program of the President Ramon Magsaysay and no new legislation passed.
Diosdado P. Macapagal, 1961 to 1965.
Did you know who is Diosdado Macapagal? Well, I will tell you who is Diosdado Macapagal. Diosdado Macapagal is a Filipino lawyer, a poet, and politician who served as the ninth President of the Philippines from 1961 to 1965. He was the father of Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. He also known as the poor boy from Lubao, Pampanga. He also known for shifting the country's observance for Independence Day. Diosdado Macapagal in 1961 to 1965, enactment of the Agricultural Land Reform Code, also known as Republic Act number 3844 in August 1961. It also abolition of share tenancy, the institutionalization of leasehold, retention rights, retention of preemption and redemption. It abolished tenancy and established a leasehold system in which a farmers paid fixed rentals to landforms rather than percentage of harvest. That is Diosdado's Macapagal in 1961 to 1960.
Ferdinand Marcos Sr., 1965 to 1986.
Ferdinand Marcos was a Philippine politician who declared martial law in 1972, leading to a period of authoritarian rule. His regime was marked by allegations of human rights abuses, corruption, and embezzlement. He was ousted in 1986 through the People Power Revolution, and subsequent investigation revealed the extent of his wealth and accumulation. The Marcos family was faced legal challenges and discussion about the impact of his rule Philippine continue.
Corazon Aquino, 1986 to 1992.
The primary goals were to address social injustice, break up large land holdings, and promote equity in the land ownership. CARP aimed to empower farmers, stimulate rural development, and uplift the economic status of those working the land, marking a significant effort to rectify historical disparities in the land distribution. The thought of this whole statement is all about Corazon Aquino, the former President of the Philippines, implemented comprehensive agrarian reform program in 1988. This agrarian reform aimed to address land distribution issues by redistributing agricultural lands to the tenant farmers. Aquino's focus was on achieving social justice, empowering farmers, and stimulating rural development. CARP sought to break up large landholdings and distribute the land to those who till it, promoting equity in the land ownership and improving the economic status of the farmers.
Fidel V. Ramos, 1992 to 1998. Fidel V.
Good morning everyone. My name is Joseph O. Navarro. Today we are talking about the one of the important things sa ating Philippine history, which is the agrarian reform during the time of President Fidel V. Ramos. Before I start, I should like to give a little information about President Fidel V. Ramos. President Fidel V. Ramos, born in March 18, 1928, popularly known as FVR and E.D. Ramos. President Fidel V. Ramos was a Filipino general and politician who served as the 12th President of the Philippines from 1992 to 1998. He was the only career military officer who reached the rank of 5-star general. Now, let's go back to our main topic, which is the agrarian reform during the time of President Fidel V. Ramos. President Fidel V. Ramos' administration had to deal with the public losing faith in the agrarian reform program. When he officially entered office in 1992, his administration vowed to carry out the agrarian reform program in a very quick and meaningful manner. So, President Fidel V. Ramos enacted the following laws. Republic Act number 7881 in 1995, modify a number of provision of Republic 6657 and exempted fish pond and prawns from CARB coverage. Republic Act number 7905 in 1995 restricted the implement of the CARB. Executive Order in number 363 in 1997. This order restricted the land of the
kind of the land that may be converted by establishing condition under which is a number of different category of agricultural land are neither completely off limit to conversion or subject to right restriction. So, naobserbahan na to nga na nakasentro ang mga batas na ginatupad ni former President Fidel V. Ramos sa Agrarian Reform Program. That's why gi-implement niya ang CARP for Uncomprehensive Aquarium Program until in 1995. Ug isa pa sa iyang gi-restrict ang pag-convert sa mga land area which is dako kayo ang natabang para sa mapakinabangan ang land area into agriculture matter.
Joseph E. Estrada, 1998 to 2001.
Good day everyone, my name is Nohani Masita Gorano. I'm here to discuss the President of the Philippines, Joseph Estrada from 1998 to 2001, Farmers Trust Development Program. The program should promote, authorize, and support the voluntary consolidation of small-scale agricultural landholdings into medium and large farm enterprise through the use crop trust agreement with the service consortium to be chosen by the participant farmers and approved by the DER. Next is makabalikat para sa kaularan agraryo magkasaka. The concept was the investors to bring in capital, technology, and management support while the farmers will contribute at the most the use of their landscape. Then it's all. Thank you.
Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, 2001 to 2010.
So, President Arroyo amended EO 364 by EO 379, which entitled Transforming the Department of Agrarian Reform into the Department of Land Reform. So, broaden the scope of the department, making it responsible of all land reform in the country. So, hindi lamang basta agrarian. So, she also placed the Commission on Urban Poor under its supervision and control. So, DLR also responsible for the recognition of the ownership of ancestral domain by IPs under the National Commission on Indigenous People. So, yung mga indigenous land such as dun sa Cordillera, sa Benguet, sa Mountain Province, yan ay itinuturing na indigenous land. So, the number 1 is the Memorandum Circular number 4 series of 2003. So, operationalize the development of JJ Kapitbisig laban sa kahirapan Agrarian Reform Zone, Kalahi, AR zones. So, the number 2 is RA number 9700 series of 2009, an act strengthening the comprehensive agrarian reform program, extending the acquisition and distribution of all agricultural lands, instituting necessary reforms, amending certain provision of RA number 6657, aka as the Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Law of 1988 as amended.
President Benigno Aquino III.
So, hi everyone, my name is O'Brien Sabrina Mansalay, taking up the Bachelor of Science in Business Administration, major in Operation Management, Section Z, Subject to Philippine History. So now, I will discuss the topic of the President Benigno Aquino III. So, complete the Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Program, or it called CARP. viewed to redistribute the family-owned hacienda in accordance with the law enacted in June 2009, extending CARP for 5 more years. So, Benigno Simon, or that he called Noynoy Aquino, has always viewed politics as a necessary vehicle for change, a perspective he formed early in life. So, through an example set by both of his parents. So, the Noynoy, or that called Noynoy Aquino, is always siya nag-politics sa mga necessary like recall to change sa iyang perspectives, which is the he formed early sa iyahang kinabuhi. So, he commitment to continue the legacy of his parents was evident his performance in November 2004. So, he became Deputy House Speaker of Luzon, but the relinquished the post when the joint leaders of the Liberal Party. So, ang iyang parents, everyone, which is the evidence is the performance. So, dapat ay nag-continue sila sa kanang legacy sa iyahang parents para na sila evidence sa ilang mga performance. So, thank you. Very good.
Rodrigo Roa Duterte, 2016 to 2022.
The thought of this whole statement is all about Department of Agrarian Reform is to facilitate the survey and redocumentation of collective land titles to individual certificates of land ownership awards. Rodrigo Roa Duterte, the President of the Philippines, has implemented agrarian reform law aimed at addressing land distribution issues and promoting social justice. These reforms seek to redistribute agricultural land to landless farmers, enhance productivity, and alleviate rural poverty. Duterte's administration has emphasized the importance of empowering farmers and ensuring equitable access to resources in the agricultural sector. This program aimed to distribute agricultural lands to landless farmers and provide them with the necessary support for the sustainable, productive farming.
So now, let's move on and let's proceed to the conclusion of our topic. So to conclude our topic, agrarian reforms in the Philippines have played a significant role in addressing land-related issues and promoting equitable distribution of agricultural land throughout different periods of history. So from the communal land ownership system during the pre-Spanish period to the introduction of the encomienda system during the Spanish colonization, the country has undergone various changes in land ownership and management. So, during the American period and Commonwealth period, agrarian reform programs were initiated to improve the conditions of tenant farmers and promote land redistribution. However, the Japanese occupation distributed these efforts as the focus shifted towards the larger struggle for independence. Subsequent presidential administrations such as Manuel Rojas, Elpidio Quirino, and Diosdado Macapagal implemented policies to protect tenant farmers and improve agricultural productivity through land consolidation and the establishments of cooperatives. And the administrations of Ferdinand Marcos and Corazon Aquino introduced significant reforms, including the abolition of shared tenancy and the implementation of comprehensive agrarian reform programs. Under the administrations of Fidel Ramos, Joseph Estrada, Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, and Benigno Aquino, the focus remained on the implementation and completion of agrarian reform programs, with efforts to accelerate land distribution and provide support services to agrarian reform beneficiaries. So, currently, the Duterte administration aims to continue agrarian reform efforts through the enhanced comprehensive agrarian reform program, prioritizing land distribution and support for farmers. So, overall, agrarian reforms in the Philippines have been a continuous process with each presidential administration contributing to the development and improvement of land ownership and agricultural practices in the country.